Ah!
Hello, Bob.
Ah!
How are you?
I'm terrified right now.
Oh, I see you drew a happy little tree over here, and maybe there's a cloud over here, and
Ben, I have to say, I think these are improvements on our normal look.
what do you guys think? Should we go like this
What
every
I
day?
think is your hat is hanging pretty low on that easel right now.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, things have been getting a little bit dark recently with our recent Deep State series.
That's true. That's why I like little happy trees.
So we decided that we'd dress Ben up like a painting and me as Bob Ross. And Ben would speak in this voice the entire episode.
That is very true. And, you know, when I was just a wee canvas, totally clean, I used to watch Bob Ross all the time on TV.
That sounds like a story a normal boy would tell, except you're a painting.
I'm a painting, yes. But it's not bad being a painting, especially when you make people happy. People look at you and you're like, hi, I'm a painting. I'm not scary, right?
I think Ben is the least scary person on the planet as it is. Never mind when he's wearing this ridiculous canvas.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Should I go like this all the time?
I don't think anyone's going to be able to take us seriously if we do the whole episode like this, Ben.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, you're probably right. Especially since we go pretty dark and deep within the deep state itself in Halloween.
He's still using the voice. He's not breaking character at all.
No, not at all.
Does everyone like the addition of the hat up here? We had to add that.
Yeah, it adds more character to the personality of the painting.
All right, Ben, I think we're going to have to take it all down now so we can get into
I
business.
like being a painting. It's kind of nice.
He likes this way too much. I'm starting to get a little freaked out over here.
Well, most of us grew up either celebrating or are still celebrating Halloween, but might not know too much about it aside from having roots in Celtic paganism.
Dude, I still have some of that orange hair in my mouth.
Yeah, you see, you got it all on your face too there.
Now, we are for sure not telling you, your kids, or your family to stop enjoying dressing up and either getting so much candy that your teeth fall out or passing out from all the sugar.
But it's good to know the history of this and how it has a very dark and twisted side that most people wouldn't know. And why is that?
Well, like everything else, this holiday might as well be called the Deep State Day of Evil. But we'll get into that a bit later. First, let's talk about the history of this weird, fun, scary, and strange holiday.
Now, like everything, Halloween started out upright and had a very specific purpose.
So over 2,000 years ago, the Celtics would celebrate their New Year's by honoring those who have died. They believed that once a year, a door would open from our world to the netherworld, and those who were dead, along with other beings such as the fairies and stuff, would come through and walk among them in the living world once again.
However, evil spirits would also be able to come into our world where they would feast on the living. So in order to hide from them, they would dress up as like monsters, ghouls, and ghosts and demons to hide or confuse them so they would leave them alone.
But during this celebration, the Celtic priests would build huge bonfires, would make a huge feast for everyone, and also make sure they left sweets, wines, meats, and other food outside for evil spirits to consume before they went back to the netherworld.
Now, in ancient paganism, and specifically Druidism, they celebrated something called Samhain, which was basically the same as the Celtic New Year.
Now, Halloween, or Samhain, started out as a festival to honor the crone, who is an elder priestess or matriarch. The word hag actually started to be used, which meant wise or holy wisdom, and centuries later, hag turned into another word for witch.
Now, crone was originally part of the Trinitarian goddess, which represented the three phases of the moon and the annual cycles of nature, and also rebirth, as it symbolizes the birth of the new year.
When the Christian church took over the holiday, they renamed it Halloween, Hallowed Eve, which means holy, and they turned it back to just mean that it was a sacred time for honoring our ancestors.
Now, we say it was because most people don't celebrate it this way anymore, and nowadays, if people really knew what happened or what is going on, we might think totally differently about this holiday.
However, today it's a huge money-making holiday, coming in at second only to Christmas. It's a huge multi-billion-dollar industry, which is why companies promote it, from the candy industry to costumes, decorations, cards, you name it.
Okay, now you guys might be wondering, okay, so how did witches, magic, jack-o'-lantern, vampires, werewolves,
Donkeys.
etc. come to be?
Okay, to go back even further to the Sumerian days, about 4,000 years ago, there's a tablet containing the Gilgamesh epic, which mentions the goddess Lilith. She was a demon, or a she-demon, called night hags, or nightmares, who were known as vulvas, shape-shifting entities who would transform between dawn and at dusk.
It was said that these she-demons would have total control over men's sexuality, either making them her slaves or through magic make them impotent.
Also, Lilith's sacred symbolism was the owl, which is the wise bird of the crone. And this is also why owls are a big part of Halloween, which also represents human sacrifice, which we'll get into here pretty soon.
By the way, Lilith is the reason why Christians started to look at these women as witches. And also, it is very strange that Lilith is seen as a really good thing in our culture now, such as like Lilith Fair, in which this is named after, and many people say this is where real feminism came from, but I mean, well, this is like a whole topic.
Why'd you even go there,
Not
Ben?
even going to go on this episode.
Okay, so after years passed by, Samhain started to be associated with Lord Samhain, which is another name for the Lord of Darkness. Yeah, great, and that sounds like Sauron from Lord of the Rings, who's also represented by the Horn God and Stag God, and soon he started to be worshipped by the Druids.
And really, this is where another form of the demons, Moloch and Cerberus, which is also connected to Saturn. From this, all kinds of predictions were sought after, and eventually these priests started to perform human sacrifices in these fires to the sun god, or really to Moloch.
Or Saturn.
Or Saturn.
Also, we didn't really get into it, but the Romans also started to perform ritual sacrifices, and this was directly connected to Saturn. We talked a bit about this in our Saturn episode, but I digress.
Soon, a form of Satanism started to really take shape, as some of these women would collect and keep various kinds of animals and insects, which was believed that they could become possessed by demons and could be used in these first so-called spells.
Children started to be used as a sacrifice to make the older look younger, and also spells were cast to see the future and to communicate with the devil himself. Now, we're not saying everyone in this Druid or pagan community is like this, of course not. We're just saying that this started to happen here.
As for jack-o'-lanterns, they first came about as men would hold these eerie lights as they came from the sea into the bogs and marshes in England. They would hold them in their hands and kind of sway them and actually look like a swinging head, so they came to be known as corpse candles. The candles were also signals for the souls of the men who were lost at sea that were leading them home.
They started to carve scary faces in them to ward off the evil spirits. However, things became darker when the Druids started to go to homes and demand that the husband of the homes provide a loved one to be sacrificed. If the husband agreed, they would leave a lantern on the doorstep.
If the husband refused, they would place a spell or a trick on the home and draw a hexagon on the front door in human blood. A demonic spirit would then be attracted to the hexagram, and it would invade the house, causing one or more of the inhabitants to go insane and basically possess them.
Hexagrams, right. Now again, once the Christians took over and named it Hallows Eve, they focused on just the ancestry and tried to convert the pagans. This was the precursor to the burning of the witches that started in Europe in the 1500s.
Now, we'll get into the werewolves in a minute, but these actually came from the shape-shifting beings, and the vampires came about from drinking the blood of others, which is kind of basically what the deep state is doing, and we'll get into that later.
Now, was everyone bad and deserved to die? Of course not. We covered all of this in our Salem Witch Trials episodes, which aired just before this one.
Things kind of died down a bit on both sides, or at least out of the public eye. However, in secret, the dark side of Halloween started to renew, and the 13 bloodlines started to take control of the country and pretty much our world.
Ah!
Hello, Bob.
Ah! Hi, it's me, Bob Ross again.
And it's me, the painting of Bob Ross.
We still wanted to dress up for Halloween, but we didn't want to do it as any of those dark things.
No, not at all.
Halloween-
Those dark things are scary.
It doesn't always have to be horror and blood.
Right,
We can just paint happy little trees.
exactly. Happy little trees and clouds. Clouds are always good too. Well, you guys, we hoped you really liked this strange and kind of spooky episode.
And Ben's not going to stop talking like that for the rest of the day.
No, I don't think I will. We should go out for dinner.
So anyway, please hit like and subscribe if you haven't.
And hit the notification bell.
Oh yeah, don't forget that.
Yes, that's very important.
Thanks,
Remember
painting.
that.
So until next time, we'll see you out
On the edge of
of the happy little trees.
I think you should paint more of them.
And I think you should stop talking like that. You're starting to freak me out.
And have a happy wondering. Ha ha ha. Get it?
Yeah, got it.
Wondering.
I got it.
Oh.
Wow. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying this episode.
If you want to watch the rest and get access to our full catalog of content with hundreds of videos that will keep you entertained for hours and hours, subscribe to rise.tv.
Also, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss a single new drop.
Yeah, and we'll see you out
On the edge.